Welcome to APS 250. My name is Luann Powell, and I'm going to be your instructor over the course of the next few weeks. I just wanted to go over a few details of the class, and hopefully you'll have a syllabus that'll be emailed to you. In fact, I'll get that out to you. And so you'll have it, and it's also embedded in the course in a couple of different places. So I would encourage you, the first thing that you do is just look over the syllabus, read it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate getting in touch with me, and I'll discuss it with you. I'm coming to you virtually, and I'm coming to you from my house. I still have not migrated back into the office, and I'll do that in the next couple of weeks, but I've been working from home. So it's made life interesting in the last probably 2 months is how long I've been here, and by the time this wraps up, it'll be close to 2.5 months before I go back into my office. But it's been an interesting time, and I just look at, I think about the phrase, and also as it's quoted in the Bible, is such a time as this. And it really has been a unique time, a very unprecedented time. I know that's something that we hear. This is only the second time that I've taught the course. I taught it last summer, and I'm looking back on different course content, and I'm looking back on just my welcome message at that point in time, and talking to people and explaining Zoom, which was such a new concept at that moment. Not anymore. We're Zooming here, we're Zooming there. We're using it for classes, we're using it for church services, we're using it for work, but we're using Zoom in a lot of different areas in our life, and we'll use it in this course. We'll also use Teams, which is through Microsoft Office and Office 365. I personally like Teams, and that will be designed for one of our different exercises that we'll use. I'll go ahead and include you in on a group, and we'll start the Teams, and that'll be working from week 1 that we'll be working, and I'll be messaging you in Teams. So I think you'll like it, and there's so many different options that are out there right now, and so many that have exploded on the scene in the last couple of weeks dealing with the pandemic. So a little bit about the course. It is 8 weeks, and we'll be together during that time. We're going to start out talking about groups, because that's the precursor really to anything that goes with a team is learning about groups, understanding groups. Then we'll move into talking about teams, and then at the very end, looking at virtual teams and how to work in a virtual team. Again, I said the technology is just changing. And it's going to be changing even probably during the 8 weeks that we meet. Even on the Teams meetings, you can do meetings in Teams. It's very similar to Zoom meetings. And when it first started out, it only had 4 people that you could put. It's moved to 9, and next it's going to move larger than that. Google has just come out with a new app and a new Teams that you can use, and it's up to 100 individuals that they'll put in it. So again, it's going to be a very fluid. That's one reason we don't use a textbook. I'll lecture, and then we'll have some supplemental reading, and I'll also have some articles that I'll send your way, and just little tidbits along the way to tell you about it. Forums that you're going to do are very important in the class, and that's your class discussion. And we'll have those pretty much every week. I think there's one exception that we don't, because I have you do a paper. So I think a paper is enough at that point in time. But again, this is your class discussion. I ask that you do your initial post and have that midweek by Wednesday, and your initial post has to be 400 words, 3 paragraphs, and that's I know people go, oh, 400 words, that's not a lot. You're going to be able to put your opinions down for those different topics, and then you have to have a response to someone else's. And the reason for that is because, again, it's our class discussion. We're not going to be together face to face, so you're going to have to respond to other people's posts. And that needs to be 200, 250 words to have that. Now, let's talk about posts. And again, I'll give you enough that you're not going to have any problem getting your words in. But be very careful in your responses. I don't mean that you can't have opinions. I don't mean that you can't disagree. But we do have to be respectful of each other. If I see it going in a direction I don't like, I can shut that down, and I can take care of that. It's not that I'm against free speech, but I'm against hateful speech, and I'm against harsh words. and there's just a way that we're going to operate and a way that we're not going to operate, and we're going to act in love. And we're going to act in respect, and no time for hatred or hateful words. I had years, well, not that long ago, in one of my organizational behavior classes, and I have people list leaders and who they like, and someone had listed a controversial leader, but that's their opinion. But I had someone else in the class tell them that they were a communist Nazi, and so we don't do that. We don't, we just have to be nice of how we speak our words and be very, very careful and very tolerant with that. And again, stay on topic, which I seem to be deviating, it looks like, off of topic, but I want you to stay on topic, stay within the discussion of that week. Don't try to hijack the class either, and just be aware of the people that you're working with and the teams. You'll be put in a team at some point in time in the class where you'll be broken out, and I've been looking at how I'm going to do that. I assigned them last year. I may have Zoom just randomly select, but I'll get back with you on that, on how I decide to do that. I'll open up 1 week at a time to where you'll have week 1, then week 2, or module 1, module 2, so on and so forth. I spoke it earlier. We'll start with groups. And we need to understand the basic dynamics of groups. We'll go into teams and then virtual teams. We have a communications paper that we're going to do midway through, and then we will look at the development of teams, how they happen. And I've worked in this area for a long, long time, and you can look at my gray hair and you can see that I'm part of the boomer generation, and I've worked as a consultant with a lot of corporations and a lot of companies in this area and worked with them on team development. Because when you look at it, teams is relatively, in my opinion, I mean, if we look at it, a new concept, and it was brought in, the Japanese brought it in and brought it to this country of working in teams, because before that we were very hierarchical in how we conducted our business. And so now, I guess I said, it has moved to teams. So in week 1, I just want to go over a few things. You don't have a textbook. You do have some supplemental reading, and you can get that book through Union's library, and you've got it's in your syllabus. It's a manager's guide to virtual teams. You can download the material. You can print it if you want to. You can just read it, but it's chapters 1, 2, and 4 in that book. We will have a virtual team exercise of where you're going to be working with your team. Our discussion posts will look at introductions, group members, what type of group members you've been, groupthink, which is my favorite topic in the world, and so we'll study that, and it's just an interesting phenomenon, and I've done lots of research and study on it in the past. We'll look at the Big 5, which is personality test, and do a self-analysis on that. Again, the communication paper. We'll have another forum post on the misinterpreted email. And then your virtual team exercise is a big portion of your points. It's 100 points. It's weighted actually the same as the final exam. So, and I do a final exam. That always freaks people out. But it's open book, open note. It's just something way that we can assess and see if you've gotten the content. And it's only 100 points out of the class, so it's weighted the same as your paper. It's weighted the same as your virtual team exercise. So not threatening. Don't be threatened by it. Again, my name is Lou Ann Powell. We'll be together, like I said, for the next 8 weeks. Don't ever hesitate to reach out. You can contact me through the class by sending a message through the inbox. It's over to the left on Canvas, so shoot me a message that way. You're welcome to send me an email. It's lpowell@uu.edu. But again, I'm really looking forward. It's going to be a different time. I know I go back to such a time as this, for us to be looking at teams and virtual teams. And if anything has proven it, it has been through this pandemic of how important it is for us to communicate, how important it is for us to work in teams, and how important it is, I've said that word a lot, to work virtually and to do it well. So that's what we'll attempt to do over the course of the next 8 weeks, and I look forward to working with you. I look forward to studying with you, and I look forward to hearing everything that you have to say as well about teams and virtual teams. Have a great day.